Everybody, this is Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane, and I'm sitting here with a reader from our school named Joy. Joy is in fourth grade, and Joy has been doing some really cool things in her reader's notebook that we thought we could share with you, and maybe it could help you with your learning too. Okay, so Joy, can you show us your reader's notebook and show us a little bit how it works?
Yes. So sometimes when you're reading a story, you can draw a picture to help you. So how like a picture helps you is like when you are going to write about your character.
Can we hold it up?
Yes. When you're going to write about your character, you can explain how your character looks like,
Uh huh.
and also you can write just like a few paragraphs about things in your story.
Mm-hmm. So when you drew that picture, who is that?
That is Azima. She turned into a dragon, and I drew like how she looked like as a dragon.
Okay. And when you look at this picture, like what are some things that you think about? Do you look at like the parts of her body?
Yes, I look like the designs on her wings and designs on her skin, and I can explain like she's a fire-breathing dragon. You can see it over here, like she's like a fire in the background.
Hmm. And so you put a label here that says
Yes,
Azima in dragon form.
yes,
Okay. So when you draw a sketch like this in your notebook, Joy did a really great job. It doesn't have to be beautiful like artwork. It just has to be something that gets your mind going.
yes.
And then you can think about the parts and talk about those parts or think about those parts, and that can lead you to a new idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you can just draw like stick figures doing the action. It doesn't have to
Hmm.
be like whole figure or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be just sort of like thinking about something quickly, because this is just for you, right? This is like you don't have to
Yeah.
hand this in for a grade.
Yeah.
There's no audience for this. It's just you trying to get your brain going,
Yes.
and that's a way to do that. Okay, can you show us something else in your notebook?
Yes. So let's make that one. Sometimes you can say like what words you learned that are new.
Okay.
Like for example, in here, I was reading the book The Invasion and I survived and I did synagogue because I never knew what that was. So synagogue means a place where Jews worship God.
Can you hold that up?
Yes.
So what Joy did was she wrote the word, and then she wrote the definition. And then what did you do with the definition? Like, did you try thinking about that and how it fits
Yes.
inside the book?
Yeah, and I also did a thought um over here. Remember it was in my notebook, but I know I wrote that it was unfair for Jews to be like killed just because of their religion. I don't think that's very fair.
Uh-huh. And how did your notebook help you do that?
I was thinking about all the stuff that happened in the book and I can write it down. And then when I go to write a story, I know that I can put this in because, like, you can add thoughts in your stories.
Okay. So tell me if you think this is true, that when you're reading a book, using a notebook can help you, because there's a lot of ideas that go on in your mind, and it's a way to kind of keep them organized. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you did some other kinds of things in here too. You had
Yeah.
some charts and you had some boxes and bullets. Can you show us something like that?
Yes, I did a chart about my book Dragon Girls.
Okay.
So I was up to my middle.
Let's hold it up close so everyone can see. So you were thinking about things in the beginning of the book, in the middle of the book, and then later on in the end of the book, right? What sorts of things did you think about?
I was thinking about the characters in the beginning, like Azima, Willa, and Naomi. And I wrote a thought. I think that Azima is going to explore the forest since she heard Magic Forest Come Explore, which is the song that she heard from the forest.
Great, because sometimes what we do is we think about specific things in the beginning and middle and end of the book, right?
Hmm.
Right. We call that the work of readers, don't we?
Yes.
And so you were actually doing that in your notebook, and how did that help you?
So sometimes it helps me keep in mind like what's happening in the story. So when I go to the end and I start thinking about the book, I'm like, I know what I'm going to think about. Like I know what I wrote down. Instead, because if you didn't write it down, you'd be like stuck. Like, oh, I forgot everything I read about. So you
Mhm.
just look back in your notebook and you can find everything.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you're really proud of inside your notebook?
Yes. I did this. It was the book Dragon Girls, and it was new things for Azima. And I wrote down learning to fly, learning how to take off, like to fly, learn how to
Mm-hmm.
take off, and learning how to land, and having a dragon body, and being friends with a baby tiger cub.
Okay. So how did making that list help you think about stuff in your book?
Helped me think and like know a little bit more about Azima as a character and what her traits are.
Mm-hmm. And then you could kind of like follow that through the book.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then what was on the next page? I think I saw something there too.
Okay.
You were writing about Charlie?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yes.
Oh, okay. So what is that?
So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I did the characters that I first met. Here's one, Grandpa Joe, Grandpa Josephine, I think that's what it
Grandma
says. Yeah,
Josephine,
Josephine, and then Grandpa George, and then Grandma
Georgina.
Georgina, and Mr. Bucket, and Mrs. Bucket. And Mr. Bucket and Mrs. Bucket have a small boy named Charlie Bucket.
Okay. So you were like that helped you to organize and think about your characters and
Yes.
then think about who was going to be an important character and what they were doing. Okay. Anything else? Like I see that there's places here where you had some longer writing. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So
So sometimes I would just think about one part of the story that was really interesting to me, and I would just write long about it.
okay. And when you write long, I think one of the things you said you did was you didn't just write down everything that happened, but you wrote down stuff that you were thinking about that.
Yes.
Yeah. How does that help you as a reader?
So when you think about things, it helps you understand a lot more, and you can learn more from your characters.
Right. And sometimes what you can do is after you're done writing and then you're thinking, you can go on and read more, thinking about that same thing while you
Yes.
read. Did you do that? Where did you do
Yes.
that?
So when I was reading in the forest, I was thinking about Azima and like how she was feeling when she was going through the forest, and I was like, she might be feeling scared or she might be feeling nervous, but in the text it says that she was feeling pretty nice and happy and magical in the forest because it
Hmm.
was just not a normal forest, it was a magical forest.
So you kind of like read and then you write
Yes.
and then you think, but then you read on, but you're not just reading on going, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen.
Yes.
You're like thinking about what you were writing about and what you were thinking about, right?
Yes.
Okay, that can help you kind of have like more of a direction in your reading, can't it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing this. This is
You're
you're doing
welcome.
some really exciting things in your notebook. So think about all the things that you saw Joy talking about today, and maybe you could try some of it too, or maybe you have some other things that you are working on together with your class or with your teacher, and that might help you read books using your notebook to help you think. Okay. Thanks a lot, Joy.
Bye.
Bye. See you next time.